I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's a marketing, mental benefits, and triathlons. And of course, great hair, none other than Mr. Ryan Ross. And of course, the author of the upcoming book, Benefits with Friends. Welcome, Mr. Ryan, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Sure. So I am Ryan Ross. You got that right. I worked at the, intersection of financial services and marketing for, let's say, since 2011. I worked at Dow Jones and FT in sales. I worked in marketing technology at a company called BrightTALK. Then I started my own marketing agency. And I kind of pivoted that to be specifically for webinars for financial advisors. And that was in maybe like 2022. And then I got an opportunity to work with exclusively a company that does benefits brokering. It's called a GA, which is a general agency for benefits brokers. And so now I head up their marketing. And I needed to learn about the benefits world. And I'd written a book before on digital marketing for financial advisors, but I didn't know about benefits. So I need to learn about that world. So that's why I decided to write this book, Benefits with Friends. We didn't know what the name was going to be because it rhymes with friends with benefits. But anyways, this was a fun title. And I took it as an opportunity to just dive into the world. I knew I wanted to tell a story about the world of benefits because, let's be honest, it can be kind of dry. So
Yes.
I use this as a, like I said, opportunity to learn about the world of benefits and tell a story so people could make it more approachable, right? And then I also incorporated like marketing into the book so that if you already know about benefits, but you're a broker and you need to learn more about marketing your brokerage, this is a really good way to do it too. So here we are.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your
look at
knowledge
that.
and wisdom to the world, Mr. Ryan. Benefits with Friends. What is all about?
So the book is about a guy, his name is Dente, and he used to be a pasta manufacturer, we discover in the book, but his dad dies, and so his dad's like, I wouldn't say final wish, but final challenge would be to take over the benefits brokerage. And we learn that, if he doesn't take over the brokerage, this is Al Dente, he wouldn't be able to pay for his daughter's tuition, and she's very talented, but they're in an income bracket, which means they can't make it. They can't get a scholarship. So he's like, I got to make this work. But first, I need to learn about benefits. And also, I got to get licensed. And he tries to meet people that can tell him about benefits and the world of benefits. And that's what he does. And so he interviews a bunch of people and he learns a lot of things along the way. And he runs into a lot of challenges and he comes out learning more about benefits and also figuring out how to market his business, getting in front of people and kind of overcoming stage fright, etc. And these are the things that the readers will learn. If they don't know about benefits, they'll learn a lot more about benefits. If they do know about benefits, they'll learn a lot more about marketing. They might laugh, they might cry a little bit, but they will be entertained.
Why did you feel there was a need for this book now? How does our current cultural moment, post-pandemic or digital connected yet often lonely, make this approach to wellness especially relevant?
I would say, excuse me. First of all, a lot of business books are just nonfiction. Oh, this is a story about how this one specific broker did this, right? And it's more anecdotal than anything. There's nothing wrong with nonfiction business books, but there are so many of them. What is few and far between? I mean, some of the most popular books out there are fiction books, right? They tell a story, there's action, there's intrigue, and there's challenges that the main character goes through, etc. But there's not many examples where there's 3 examples that I've heard of and I've read actually that there's a business book, but it's told in a narrative format. This does that. I've never seen one for the benefits world. And right now, benefits are, because we in the U.S. ACA subsidies are expiring. Maybe they're going to be pushed back. Who knows? But healthcare costs are increasing a lot, and healthcare is one of the main things for employers, yes, but also for individuals. It's one of the main costs. So I think understanding that is a really important thing for people to do. Or to try to, learn about, right? Just healthcare benefits. This is what the book talks about. But it does so in a much more approachable way because it is a narrative, because it is a book, and it's about a dude, and he's trying to learn things about benefits that anybody should know, but most people don't. So I think this fills that gap.
How do you find a friend in this context? Is it the closest confidants, or does the concept expand to include communities, groups, or even new connections formed around a shared goal?
Well, I think the fact that this guy is trying to learn about benefits, how do you make a friend? You just say hi, right? Somebody is a stranger until you say hello. And he just approaches these experts in the field and he says, "Can I speak with you about this?" Right? I need to learn more about this. So he develops a lot of friends along the way. And I think anybody that wants to make more acquaintances in an industry or learn more about people in the industry, just approaching it with a level of curiosity towards a specific goal, right, is a really good way to make friends. So I think this is probably less about friends and more about benefits, but this guy makes a lot of friends along the way, purely because he's trying to figure out, like, he's got a problem and he needs to solve it. And all these people that are potential friends can help him solve that problem.
Indeed, an interesting definition. How to of social wellness, Mr. Ryan. The book seems to turn wellness to a team sport. What are the practical mechanics? How do you structure as a wellness pack or shared goal with the friends without a feeling like added pressure or homework?
Um, I'm not really sure I understand the question. Could you rephrase it a little bit?
Yes, so benefits with friends. Did you turn into a wellness or something about it? What is the practical mechanics if you did it like a wellness or a team sport?
Oh, I mean, if you're this guy's, he has a company and he has people that work with him, right? He's got a
Mhm.
mentor, he's got an associate, I suppose you could say, a marketing associate, and everybody's going towards a specific goal, right?
Mhm.
His goal is trying to figure out, how do I learn about the world of benefits, and also how do I build a business? So he recruits the people in one way or another to help him go towards that goal. And if there's a wellness element to it, it's probably one of the things he encounters in his discussions with people, which is pickleball. One of the things we do at BrokersBloc is we host pickleball events, and this is one of the things we talk about in the book, right? Hosting events to get in front of an audience. At BrokersBloc, we host pickleball events to get in front of a very specific audience, which is benefits brokers, who this book is for. And there's wellness benefits to those types of activities, right? When you're getting around people, doing something active. So if there's a benefits or a wellness aspect to the book, it's probably that. But the book is more about how he learns about benefits and how he markets himself to be more visible to the audience.
To more visible. I
Yeah.
like that. Mr. Ryan, accountability is a key benefit, but it can be easily turned toxic. How do you design these social agreements to be supportive and forgiving rather than judgmental or shame based when someone slips up?
Um, Accountability. How to make sure that accountability is productive towards a group. I would say, yeah, what are your goals, and are you making sure that everybody's following up on what they need to be doing? And in the
Mm.
book, he is trying to make sure that he's mostly making sure that he's accountable to himself and to his family, and making sure that he can get in front of the right people, he can hit the right or complete the projects that he's been given. Especially by himself. He needs to set up a webinar, and he needs to go and speak at a conference. This is one of the things he encounters in the book. He gets an opportunity to speak, and he doesn't really want to do it. But his mentor, who has a great name, his mentor says, yeah, you got to be doing this, man. So he has to hold himself accountable to actually give the speech or to actually record the podcast, etc. So I think it's just about making sure that you can do what you said you're going to do.
Accountability indeed. And Mr. Ryan, can you give a specific example of benefits with friends, challenge, or ritual from the book that transforms a solitary activity, shared experience?
Let's see. An example from the book that takes a solitary act into a shared experience. Well,
yes, please.
One of the things he had, this is something that I haven't really spoken about on a podcast before, but this guy, he has a, I guess, proclivity, which is he likes to bring a Parmesan shaker to all of his meetings because it's kind of like a comfort thing for him, right? That's more for him. And he's got this Parmesan shaker. He brings it to restaurants. He likes to, shake it onto his steak or whatever. But eventually it becomes a crutch, right? And he goes to a nice restaurant and they take it away from him. And they're like, this is below our standards. What are you doing? And what happens is that kind of realization that his standards are too low, which is encapsulated in this Parmesan shaker, represents like, I need to raise my standards for everybody that I work with, because what I was initially using as a crutch, which was effectively his own biases to how he operates. What was a crutch at once is now, once he liberates himself, he can apply that standard across his organization. Then it becomes a way to improve the standard of operating for his business and for the businesses that he works with. So that's probably an example of that.
Good example, Mr. Ryan. And tell us, how does this approach combat to comparison and competition that can poison wellness communities online? How do you foster collaboration over comparison?
How do I foster collaboration over comparison?
Yes.
Could you rephrase it? I'm not sure I understand.
So in the book itself, did you tackle about comparison and competition? That, well, if you discover about wellness communities, how do you collaborate with this? Comparison and competition in the book itself.
Sure. So this guy's in an industry where there's a lot of benefits brokers, right? Not specifically wellness, but mostly benefits. Excuse me. So he has to figure out, how do I compete amongst other business brokers or benefits brokers, excuse me. And so he realized, okay, if I can niche myself down into a broker that only serves one type of audience, right? It's a great scene where he kind of discovers, like, okay, it's okay if I pigeonhole myself, because there's way more opportunity out there if you realize how to pigeonhole yourself correctly, right? So he's speaking with his mentor, and he's like, Al, what type of company do you work with best? And this is what I would say as a marketer to any company, right? If they're trying to figure out who their target market is, who do you work with best? That's who you should target specifically. One of my clients, he works with only med tech sales reps. It's a very good audience because they have specific needs. For Al Dente in the book, he finds that he works best with manufacturers because he was a manufacturer of pasta himself. So he was worried that, there's not enough manufacturers out there for me to do business with, right? And his mentor was like, well, how many people do you do business with now? And he says 99. He's like, what if you doubled that? He's like 200. I'd probably need a lot more help. But Al Dente was still worried. He's like, I don't know if there's enough manufacturers out there for me to do business with them. Turns out this is an actual fact. There are 600,000 manufacturers in the U.S. And if you're having only 3,000 people, 3,000 opportunities, which is about, let's say, 2% of the market or 3% of the market, that's plenty. If you're doing business with 3,000 manufacturers, you are a huge player in the market. So it kind of reframed how he thought about things in terms of, okay, yeah, I can compete with everybody, or I can compete with only a very small sliver of the market. And so that's how he approached it.
Mr. Ryan, as a marketing, health benefits, and triathlon, as well as an author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Well, right now we're trying to get people looking at the book, right? We want to make sure that we can add value to the marketplace of benefits brokers because we think this is a really good way for them to A, have a good time reading a book, B, kind of, if they have questions about benefits, this is the way to learn about that, and also entertain them. But in the longer term, we want to make sure that we can offer benefits services, or let's say GA services to benefits brokers across the country. So that's more of the long-term goal.
Good luck to your goals. Mr. Ryan, looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Oh, well, you want to get cash flow, right? If the service that you're offering doesn't create cash flow, then really think about who your audience is, what you want to be doing, and then reverse engineer it into that, because it's a lot about life is a lot about reverse engineering the success you want, because that's going to differ for everybody. But I would say have the vision, put the pieces in place, and then you just got to take action and do it.
Cash flow indeed. Thank you for that, Mr. Ryan. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Sure. Yeah. So for this book, I took kind of the ideas of 3 different books. The first one is called Work the System by a guy named Sam Carpenter. And if you read this book, Benefits with Friends, you will realize that, one of the characters is named Sam, and he's a carpenter, and he's got a great system. So that's a really good book. Work the System by Sam Carpenter makes you realize that everything is a system. A system is just steps 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's a really interesting way to kind of make a business more simple and help you understand how the world works better. Second one, The Ultimate Sales Machine, which is a book by Chet Holmes. And this is one of the things that Al Dente learns in this book is about how to write a speech. Right. It also tells him about the Dream 100 list, which is how he defines who his niche is. But his stadium speech is how he develops his webinar and his keynote speeches. So that is a really good book to understand how sales works, et cetera, and how you can give a good speech. The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. And 3, I probably didn't mention this as much in the book as I could have. But there's a book called Traction by Gino Wickman, and it introduces something called the Entrepreneur Operating System, which is a very good way to just run your business to make sure you're operating efficiently and effectively and making sure that everybody has the right priorities. So Work the System, The Ultimate Sales Machine, and then Traction are the 3 books that are really influenced how I operate.
Thank you for the recommended books, Mr. Ryan. So what has been the most powerful, surprising personal story or testimonial you've encountered from some applying the Benefits with Friends philosophy?
Well, we haven't published the book, but I would say that we have just my business partner and I, because the fact that BrokersBloc is unique in the marketplace in terms of the carriers that we provide business broker or benefits brokers access to. They think it's a very refreshing option. So most GAs offer access to just large carriers the BUCA carriers. Blue Cross Blue Shield, United, Aetna, and Cigna. Those are BUCA carriers. We offer the opposite ones, right? Not that we don't offer the big ones, but we also access to these long tail distribution of innovative carriers. And they are like, this is great. Now I can find other options. So it's refreshing to get the feedback that, yes, brokers want these options, and it's just a matter of getting in front of them. So I would say that's probably the most refreshing thing to hear from our audience or our clients.
Well, interesting, Mr. Ryan. But before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season. Abstract Poetry in its third season. Alma Book 101 Review in its sixth season this year. Comedy 101 third season. Alma Food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, Music 101 fourth season. Science 101, Sex 101 in its third season. Alma Baby Podcast. Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Ryan, ultimately, is the goal of this book to help us achieve our wellness goals? Or is it wellness goal really just a vehicle to achieve a deeper, more meaningful friendships and a stronger sense of community, which is the true benefit?
So I would say the point of the book is to help benefits brokers, learn more about benefits, or financial advisors learn about benefits, and then help them be able to market themselves better, and learn more about how to expand their visibility in the marketplace.
Yes, definitely. And thank you so much again for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Ryan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So can you please invite our listeners to support your upcoming book, your advocacy,
Sure.
or whatever project that you're doing right now?
Yeah, you can go on the Amazon store. Benefits with Friends by Ryan Ross. It's coming out on January 13th. I'll also be doing a reading of the book on January 13th on LinkedIn. And I can send you a link, Daniel, so people can be aware of that as well.
Yes, definitely, people. Let's support Mr. Ryan Ross, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering books like this will rise. So, one more question, Mr. Ryan. What are the common pitfalls or ways these plans fall apart? How does the book provide tools to navigate them? Just like scheduling conflicts. Like scheduling, conflicts, mismatch, goals, friendship, or tensions?
I think just be clear about your intentions, right?
Yes, just be clear, people. Be clear to the intention. Just like Mr. Ryan Ross to produce this book, Benefits with Friends. So, Mr. Ryan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Monica people, see you soon.